right. Good day once more, Beyond Compliance listeners. I am Sanelisiwe, your host, and today we have a very important guest from VA Lookup, Nicole Abrahams. Mrs. Abrahams, good day. How are you doing?
Hi, Sonny. Thanks for having me. I am doing very well, thank you. I am excited to be here. I'm honored to be here, to be a guest, and this Beyond Compliance, something that's definitely needed in the market today. So I'm excited for what today looks like.
Oh yeah, man. Yes, to everyone who has tuned in, you will recall that we had kickstarted our channel as Growth Vista, where we are having discussions and sharing ideas to the business community, and really intriguing and asking ourselves as businesses really that is there anything that you can do? I mean, is it time to not just stick with being compliant and you are happy with that? So, being said that, I'm gonna now back to you, Nicole, and if you could just tell us about what you do, what does your business do, and how do you, I mean, ensure that compliance within the virtual assistant industry is something that the businesses could really look beyond to.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, if you can just give us that.
Well, I am Nicole Abrahams, owner, founder of a company called VA Lookup. Uh, we provide virtual administrative services to a broad spectrum of companies, actually.
Mm,
VA was initiated and really founded to be that support to businesses and entrepreneurs. And I think the service is to provide them a flexible and efficient administrative solution.
mm,
And I think just with my background in my career, I found myself, same as you, Sani, with a BCom degree in the accounting space on my way to becoming the CA. And
mm,
I realized that, hey, so my strength lies in maybe a different element of that. And I went on to become a group financial manager of a offshore company.
mm,
And that was an exciting time. But then, the
yeah,
oil price tanked, and unfortunately,
yeah,
our company decided they were going to close down.
mm,
And then I served for a few years as the internal auditor for Fancourt, which is the
mm,
golf estate down in the Garden Route. So for the avid golfers, they would know about it. It's really rated highly in South Africa. It's one of the best courses and in the world, actually. And I think that
mm,
experience as the internal auditor just gave me a different perspective of the challenges and that sometimes is we accountants don't always see, right? You have this
mm,
operational view, and I think that's where VA got birth and seeing that with all my experience and things, can I put something together that can offer our current entrepreneurs and business owners, who is the heart and soul of our economy, actually, can we offer them something and the proper support that they actually need? VA, strangely enough, is actually a part of a formula that some of you would know in Excel. Uh, you know,
mhm,
you know, VLOOKUP, right?
mm,
It is finding a specific thing inside of a whole table of information. And I
mm,
think VA is finding something that you need, we will most likely have. We will help you find it, we'll give it to you, and we'll really strengthen your business. I think our
mm,
offering is quite wide and it
mm,
varies depending on each business that we engage with because our heart is to support the entrepreneurs. Our heart is to
mm,
help stimulate our economy with giving
mm,
our entrepreneurs and small businesses the best support that they can give. Because if they do well, we do well, and our economy does
mm,
well, right?
mm.
At the
Oh,
end of the
well.
day, that's where we all need to work towards, and that's why I love your segments, Annalise. I think it's
Mm,
it's wise. I think it's needed. We need a
yeah.
support system that is effective that you don't
Yeah.
necessarily have to pay for, right? And I
Yeah.
think your
Yeah. Yeah.
experience can teach me.
Yeah. Okay. Look, you have really hit it on the nail. There's three things I picked up. You mentioned efficiency. You mentioned heart and soul, like businesses, especially small businesses, being the heart and the soul of the country. And the name of your business, it's very, intriguing me.
Yeah,
Because sometimes we have these charts, but we never really get deep VA lookup.
yes,
And
yeah,
now looking at that and the conversations or these roundtable conversations about, look, businesses, it's time to go beyond compliance. And you
yeah.
mentioned these three things. In your experience, how have you seen this impact on the virtual assistant industry, and what risk businesses face when they focus on solely on minimum compliance? Because, like I said, you touched on efficiency, and what I'm getting is if you're focusing on compliance, I'm wondering whether there's efficiency in that, and
Mm,
being the heart and the soul. For a
yeah,
heart to be healthy, there are certain things also
that it
that needs
needs.
to happen. If you can just maybe elaborate on that.
I think inside of this virtual administrative side or
Mm,
business or industry, we're exposed to a lot of sensitive information. I think,
mm,
and we're exposed to companies, right? And we're exposed to the owners to a large extent. And what I think really is the biggest risk when it comes to compliance in general is the perception and the understanding that the owner has regarding compliance. Now,
mm,
compliance is, I'm going to say it, dare I say it, it's a swear word, right? When you hear the word compliance, you hear, you want my money. Uh, I can't see, I mean, what is this part of business? The government just wants this from, this is what you think when
mm,
you think of compliance, and no one talks about the benefits of compliance.
mm,
The
mm,
entrepreneurs, and I think that's the biggest risk, because if, and I have seen and I have found, and some of the viewers might not agree, but if you have issues with compliance, it
yeah.
it identifies certain areas in your business that you need to go look at red flags.
Wow.
If
Wow.
you are in a state of not compliance, for instance, you know
Okay.
that that's a red flag. If
Okay.
you are only sticking to the bare minimum compliance, that for you as an owner is a red flag. If you are
Mm,
sticking to the bare minimum, this is the minimum that I want to do. Are you ready for
yeah.
growth? This is my
Yeah.
question. Are you
Wow.
in the growth mindset? Are you
Mm.
there? That's just the question I like to ask my clients. Because,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
at the end of the day, when you go into business, you must go in with your eyes open. There's a
yeah,
cost for doing it correctly, but
yes.
there's a massive benefit that you will receive. And there's this saying that they say, don't work for the momentary blessing. Don't work for
Mm,
that. Don't work for saving your 5 rand now. A simple example, bare
mm,
minimum. I want to
mm,
submit my VAT return. Let's just say
mm,
that. Everyone hates paying VAT,
mhm.
right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You don't want to submit it. Now you choose not to submit it. But do you
Mm,
know that you're going to have to submit it in any case? And the cost of you not doing it is firstly the 10% penalty that goes on it, the interest that goes on it.
mm,
And you're going to have to
mm,
pay someone more to get it to expedite it and get it in on time
mm,
because it's a
mm,
backlog of work. There's a
mm,
cost for not being compliant. There's a cost for not
mm,
adhering to compliance. And
mm.
unfortunately, that's the cost of business. Now, if you're telling
Yeah,
me that your cash flow is tight, well, then you have to go look at how you're quoted. Look at your pricing
yeah,
structure. Go look at
yeah,
your expenses. Those are the things that
yeah,
you have to look at. You can't just give
yeah.
up on compliance, can you?
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, so Ish, yeah, you
I'm
are,
sorry, I'm getting
yeah,
to the
I
point, you
love
say.
I love what you're saying. I mean, really, once we hear, I love what you said about business owners when they hear compliance, it's like a swear word. And I'm like,
Yeah.
to think even about myself. It's like, oh
Yeah,
God, I
yeah.
want my money again. SARS
Yeah,
wants
yeah.
my money, CICP wants my money. But I do believe that what you are saying is very critical because, I mean, you are saying also businesses must keep their eyes opened because
Yeah.
if then you have a problem with paying your VAT, then there's a problem in your costing.
Yes,
I think for me that
yes.
is very profound and eye-opening. And if for example, you are always like after compliance, like I've heard people saying, I'm sure you've also, it was due last week. I wanted it
Mm,
to be done yesterday. Then what I'm hearing you are saying again, as what you have experienced, is that it then tells you in your industry as an administrator who supports businesses that there is another problem. And having said that, in your experience, what could be these other problems? And you have already touched on VAT and the cost. But if
mm,
someone is submitting late and is always chasing these deadlines of compliance
yeah.
and saying it was due last week and I want it yesterday, but he's bringing it today,
Mm.
what could be the hidden problems that business owners could potentially start really looking at, and maybe they will find better answers and actually eliminate some of the risks in their businesses.
No, it actually it usually and generally it really comes down
Mm,
to money. Um,
mm,
but and that's the overarching thing, right? You want to increase your
mm,
profit. But let's be
mm,
honest, you are the entrepreneur, right? That is your skill. You have the vision, you have the drive, you have the passion, you have the
yeah.
operational knowledge. You are not an accountant. Why are you trying to be one? Why are you
Mm,
trying to process your own books? You are not the
mm,
accountant. Your
mm,
job is to maintain that positivity, that drive, and that vision, that dream that you had. Your job is to become operationally excellent. Get the people
mm,
that know what to do it, and pay for it.
yeah.
You know,
Okay.
if you understand what I'm saying. I mean, and I
Yeah.
think that's most of the problems, and most of the owners try to be everything. And I get it.
Mm,
When we start up, we have to be everything. But at
mm,
the end of the day, there comes a time in your business where you have to realize you are not the accountant. Get the
mm,
accountant. Be
mm,
honest with yourself. If you are not good with administration, get you someone that is good, right? Don't
mm.
get your cousin. Get someone that knows what they're doing.
Mm,
Yes, you want to
mm,
help your sister-in-law get a job, but at the end of the day, it's the choices that you make now that will bear consequences to you and your
mm,
business, right? And you have the responsibility to you, your family, and your staff, I suppose, and all your stakeholders inside of your business to manage and handle it responsibly. And
yeah.
that is to look at the business that you are not the business. It's a separate legal entity. You are
Mm,
appointed as a director, for instance. You have a fiduciary responsibility to treat it correctly, don't you?
yeah, yeah.
Right?
Oh,
And
wow. Yeah, we do,
most
hey?
people don't make vision. They
Yeah,
really do. And most people don't make for provision it in don't make provision for it in their quoting or because
yeah,
they want to get the job, so they underquote themselves. They don't cost correctly. Find
yeah.
someone that can
Okay.
help you with that, you know?
All right. Okay. Now I want us to look at most probably the opportunities that business owners can tap into if they adopt a beyond compliance mindset, and also if you could share how this has benefited VA Lookup, particularly in areas like the services you offer, financial
Mm,
planning, because that's one part that you've touched on, and also
mm,
customer services, because I see VA Lookup also is that kind of support
mm. Yeah.
to the business owners.
Yeah, I think all in all, beyond compliance is a mindset, and I would like to
Mm,
equate it to really a growth mindset, right?
mhm,
Where you look at things and you see, okay, how can I make space for it? Now, when you look at compliance, compliance is not, don't look at it as a mandatory thing that you have to do. Look
Mm,
at it as it safeguards your company. It protects your company. Being
mm,
compliant and living in that state of making sure you are compliant, firstly puts a pressure on you to keep up to date with what does compliance look like in my entity? Because
mm,
compliance inside of an administrative firm and compliance in a construction firm looks very different.
mm,
If compliance inside of an accounting firm and compliance inside of a legal firm does not look the same.
mm.
Am I giving, if I'm giving service, am I giving product? Whichever one it
Mm,
is gonna, it's really gonna be different. There are
mm,
basic things that we all have to comply to, but even inside of your own business, there are things that you, as the owner, need to know. Now, if you
mm.
have an attitude that I only want to know what I have to, don't give me any more. Does that make space for growth? You know, you don't
I thought,
you know, I
yeah.
mean, you're doing your business a disservice at the end of the day.
Mm, mm,
At the end
mm.
of the day, we want to grow. At the end of
Yeah,
the
of
day, we want
course.
to be the best in our field. At the end of
Mm,
the day, we want to make good money. But you know where that starts? With your
yeah.
mindset and perception of when you look at things. So really, VA is looking at its compliance as things that will keep us safe. Data
Mm,
protection. It's a
mm,
compliance. How do I
mm.
keep my clients' things safe and secure? Do you know
Yeah.
what that does? It builds a brand of VA.
Mm,
It
mm,
boasts my brand.
mm.
If I come into your company and I find out your VAT is not submitted, what do you think I'm going to think of you? If you're compliant and you say you don't have an accountant, my friend is doing it in her garage, what do you think is going to happen? What is my perception of your
Mm,
company,
mm,
right?
mm. Oh, wow.
We are also responsible to build our images, and I think compliance helps us and safeguards us on many aspects, I believe, in any case.
Yeah. So I'm hearing you mentioned something like about growth mindset.
Yeah.
And when I translate this is it then filters to the fact that going beyond compliance really it should be a long-term business plan
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it contributes to the health of the business, right?
Yeah.
So what I
Yes.
want to find out from you is how has VA Lookup, first of all, prepared your internal systems, right?
Hmm.
To kind of be having or be in a state where you are beyond compliance, and as well for your customers, how do you prepare your customers and how do you help your clients both operationally and financially to be future proof and adapt to the industry changes, different legislative
Mm.
compliance requirements. So can how have you done that, and how do you do it
Mm.
in business?
I think to a large extent, I think my experience being in audit, internal audit and accounting has
Mm,
made me, and in business actually quite a bit, has made me think a particular way.
mm,
And I think my engagement with clients has always been, and I think my clients know. I get to the point
mm,
and I get in there. And I think when you come to VA, there's definitely going to be this conversation that look here, we're going to do things correctly. We are going to
mm,
adhere and we're going to try our best. We're going to start at a certain place and there's going to be a journey where we are going to fix things.
mm,
Because I do believe that the success of a business is really dependent on the entrepreneur. So when servicing my clients and helping them, I
mm,
think most of it really depends on their mindsets and their attitude towards things. I think that is where VA's biggest strength lies. I think we do have some operational things that we help. So, for instance, we get to know our clients. If you're on the accounting industry, we get to know the accounting side. If you are like we have a couple of clients in the construction industry, so
mm.
we kind of equip ourselves to know this is what should be there, right?
Okay.
Something that we believe in at VA that I insist my guys do is I want to see at least 3.5 hours a week needs to be spent on upgrading yourself
Mm, okay.
because the world is changing at a pace that we can't keep up.
Ish.
And if you
With the
are not
AI,
moving
it's
along
even
with
worse.
it, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm,
And I mean, it's easy to type into ChatGPT, how give me this, and that, and the other. Um,
mm,
but at the end of the facts, at the end of the day, someone must drive it, and it's the
yeah.
owner that drives it. No one else is
Yeah.
going to build your business for you, right? Some people are
Mm,
going to come alongside and help you, but
mm,
at the end of the day, you have to, and you have to look at the things that's not nice, which is the
yeah.
compliance thing. It means you have to sit at night and you actually don't do invoices, get someone that does it so that you can equip yourself and read up on the compliance. Read up on
Mm,
what is new in your field. Read up what about the new strategies. Find out how AI can help you be compliant, right?
mm,
Those are the things that we should occupy ourselves with at the
yeah.
end of the day.
Yeah. All right.
I hope I answered your question,
You
Sonavisiwe.
you 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 did, because look, it also touches on now how then you then like steer your clients as VA Lookup to really,
Mm,
have uh a benefit in what you offer. And while they benefit, but they also need to be present, because in Xhosa, there's this say that you cannot take a donkey or a horse to drink water. If the horse, you can put the water for the horse. If it doesn't
mm,
want to
mm.
drink it, it doesn't want to drink it. And I do believe, from what you have shared, indicated on, is it same applies with the businesses. If you want a long-term business health, if you want a growth, and if you really want to improve your mindset to be of a
Mm,
growth mindset,
yeah.
VA Lookup can be there, Growth Vista or whoever can be there to support you. But
Yes,
then
yes.
for it to happen, you need to also do your part. You need to empower yourself. Yes, you can put it on Google, you can, but at the end, the human element is required. Then putting
Yes.
you in, as well as the time that you would need to put aside, those hours when your family or everyone, the
Mm,
phones are no longer ringing, and you put
mm,
that 2 3 hours to develop yourself. So I hear development, I hear diligence, and I hear that we need to be proactively, um, you know, doing our part as business owners,
yes.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
then the rest will be able to achieve the long-term business health, and it will really improve our businesses. So, how, in your experience, have um, the compliance, if it's not done
Mm,
in your expertise, how has it, or I mean, affected businesses
mm,
in terms of financial growth? Have you seen
mm,
any effect in that end? And as well
mm,
as, if one is then in that state,
mm.
can they start to really make sure they are coming out of the state of feeling, look, I've been just looking at compliance, and I wanna
Mm.
start the journey of having that growth mindset.
I think usually when I get clients, it's where they can't anymore. So I really get them in a not good state. So when generally they come to me and it's like, okay, this has not been working. It's not been working very well, and we need assistance here, we need assistance there, and generally depending on where the business is at, I can see from a client that has not been compliant, it's generally
Mm,
indication that they are not sure where they are at or where they are going. And
mm,
it is evident inside of the operations, right? You can see the
mm,
restrictions or not confusion, but not clear direction and path. And that
mm,
has a direct implication on the success of your business,
mm,
because
mm.
the business can really just grow as much as you're growing, right?
Yeah.
As the
Mm,
as the owner. And
yeah.
when someone, I can see when a client walks in, and their staff is compliant, but they need me because they're at the space and stage of growth. They just need more hands to help them alongside. That client has already set themselves up for success because they
Yeah.
know where they are going. So I think
Okay.
really looking at compliance can tell you the state of where the business is at. I mean, it really is a great indication of how far or how close to success is and how hard the work has been put in. And now I'm not saying you're not working hard if the things are not compliant. What I am saying, it's not in order. And everyone knows if you build a house on a foundation that is weak and not placed, I mean, how much weight can you actually put on it, right?
Wow. All right.
And that's
So
quite evident in
foundations.
clients.
Yeah, so sorry. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm saying that those are two clients that you would receive and experience. It's definitely you can see the difference. I can.
Oh, yes. Okay. So, sorry, I was just intrigued by the word foundation
Mhm.
because um, just in as we come in conclusion of this chat, indeed, if one doesn't build the foundation well, what I'm hearing from you is that then you cannot reach the second level of
Yeah.
um, really starting looking at growth for your business. You'll be forever
Yes.
staying in compliance and
Yes.
be at a position where it's like, this is fine as long as I have money.
Yeah.
Being complacent, you know,
Yeah.
complacent
Yeah.
that compliant, making money enough to buy one, two, three, four, if it is enough.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. That's
that
the other thing.
growth, yeah, that growth strategy, then it becomes negatively impacted and it's something that doesn't finally happen. So having said that, Nikki, what would be your advice to give others who are only focused on meeting compliance? And maybe if you could also share the steps that they can take
Mm.
to start, going beyond compliance and start kind of developing that growth mindset
Mm.
for their business success?
There's not a one answer suit all, but I suppose where I would start is really just having an honest conversation with yourself and assessing your business. Go to someone that, especially in your industry, that can help you to assess whether how are you with compliance now, right? Take stock
Mm,
of where you're at, and then
mm,
ask yourself, where do I want to be?
okay.
Identify, write it down, say it. Third step, where am I stuck?
Yeah.
Ask yourself, where am I stuck? List those things where you're stuck at and identify them. If it is you don't
Mm,
have understanding, you don't have money, or whatever the reason might be, you don't have the sufficient support all the time, then
yeah.
deal with those individual issues. I like to refer them back to the Eisenhower time, where you have to decide whether something is urgent or important and prioritize those tasks of things that you are stuck at and see how you can address each one individually. Rome was never built in a day, but Rome was
Yeah.
built. It
Yeah.
started somewhere, and you kind
Yeah.
of have to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and sometimes what happens, our issues are floating all jumbled up in our brain. It's all
Mm,
around us, and it really encourages inaction. But if
mm,
you were to look at it on a page on your laptop or wherever you made note of it and look at it, it's much easier to deal with than having to work with it in your mind, I suppose. And then
mm,
identify where you need the help.
mm,
Find people, reach out, Google, if you have an accountant, phone your accountant. They're quite knowledgeable and they generally have
mm,
a lot of resources, I must say.
yeah.
I just have a good one. That's one that's knowledgeable and understands accountants don't just do books, right? They
Mm-hmm.
know a lot
Mm-hmm.
more than what they sometimes seem, but um, ask for help.
Yeah.
Get a
Yeah.
mentorship program that you can join that is able to assist you if that's what you need. There's a lot of
Mm,
information out there. There's a lot of people out there that can assist. All you have to do is start asking and finding something that suits you.
wow. Thank you so much, Nicole. That was mouthful. You had it for yourself. listeners, as Mrs. Abrams said it, honest conversation. Let's stop lying to ourselves, eh? We tell most of the time as small businesses. Actually, I love what you've just said, because most of the time, and we just think business plan and those cash forecasting, plan A,
Mm,
and we are so adamant that plan A is the one and it's gonna work. And if you are on plan B, we stack up ourselves with the plans.
yeah.
But I like what you're saying, having honest conversation, evaluation, and also the point where you are saying, write it down. Write it
Mm,
down.
mm.
If it's written down, then it can be seen, and it can be, because it's visual. You can then
Yeah, yeah.
picking out those boxes. And the third one, where he's saying, help, guys, let's not
Mm,
drown. Let's not
yeah.
drown. Life of a small business, or actually business, because we
Mm,
like just referring to small businesses. A life of a business owner is
yeah.
very hectic. So
Yeah.
the A Lookup is here. Go and check
Yes.
out. She's gonna share with us where we can find her. But look, do not drown. Reach out to someone, reach out to your accountant if you already have an accountant.
Mm,
Or if the accountant doesn't offer certain information, reach out to VA Lookup, or anyone for that matter, who can elevate that burden, or even think
yeah.
with you, you know? Because I know Nicole, she has done that for us. She's been our second brain, and she has steered a ship where it's like, Sane, look at it, you know? What does it say? And for us, it has really benefited us. And thank you so much for that, Nicole. So can you share with our listeners, where can they find you, and maybe your website, your contact details, and
Yes. I will share with you as well just the card that you can maybe share on your social media.
okay.
I also think what we could possibly do, Sana, is that for your listeners, they can get a half an hour consultation if they want to call for free.
Mm-hmm.
And I can engage with them definitely and see where I can steer them or maybe give them advice wherever I can. They can search for VA Lookup, www.va.lookup, and you'll find all your information on there. I'm also on social medias, LinkedIn. You will find me. Right. And I'm looking
Okay.
forward to hearing from some of you. Maybe you can actually give a code or something like that that can use it. Then I know it is from Growth Vista and is part of this podcast.
Yeah, I think the code can be just beyond compliance.
Yeah.
If they use that code, we'll know it's from this podcast.
Yeah.
Um, Nicole, thank you so much. It was lovely chatting with you. There you have it, our listeners. Today's round table chat, our very first round table chat with a guest, Mrs. Abrahams from VA Lookup. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do check us out on the social media. We will publish this. Follow us as Growth Vista, www.growthvista.co.za, and keep in touch. Thank you so much. Bye, Nicole.
Bye. Thank you so much, Shani. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.